Limits are the tool that we need to answer our original question. How can we tell how fast a function is changing at a point rather than across an interval? Right, so to do this, we'll start with the one function where we already can do it. That's a linear function. This existing definition is going to be a big constraint for us. We don't want to just throw it away and start over. Having competing definitions would create far more problems than it would solve. Instead, what we want to do is extend this definition, and that's going to put limits on our choices. So in the end, we're going to end up in a similar place where we ended up with limits. An elegant definition that does what we need it to, but that isn't always easy to use. So just like we did with limits, once we have that definition in place, we're going to spend the rest of the chapter building tools and formulas for finding the limits of specific functions that are easy to use. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. There are going to be quite a few of those tools and formulas as we go along here, right? We're going to need one for all of our base functions. And once we've got those, if we know how to find the rate of change for two individual functions, how can we find the rate of change for the sum of those two functions, or the product of those two functions, or the composition of those two functions? All right, a lot of stuff. So to get yourself through this, you're going to need two things, right? First is organization. Whenever you got a lot of stuff to memorize, I always fall back on index cards. Put each formula or property on a card with an example on the back. You have those laid out in front of you for a quick reference. The second thing you need is practice, right? The more you practice, the more you're referencing those cards, the more problems you're doing, the more you're going to internalize all of those things, and you're going to find that you need those references less and less as you go along, right? You're going to get plenty of practice to get plenty of opportunities to get that practice as the chapter goes along.